Welcome to Fox 28 Morning Live, a special edition here out at Fry Fest down at Coralville at the Iowa River Landing. We are right outside Back Pocket Brewery, and right behind us in just a few hours, that's where Fry Fest kicks off to kick off the 2016 season. I'm Kevin Barry alongside Kelly D'Ambrosio.
Thanks for joining us today. It is a chilly morning out here. We've been shivering. I can't feel my fingers, so we're going to throw it back into the warm studio with Rebecca Kopelman to see just how cold it actually is out here. Rebecca, what's going on?
It's cool out there. I am actually kind of comfortable in here, so you guys just keep the jackets on.
I'm glad for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but the sun has come up now, so you're going to be able to warm up in just a bit. You'll hopefully feel your fingers once again. We're starting to see that sunrise right now over the city of Cedar Rapids, and it's just a beautiful start to the day, and it's just going to continue to be a gorgeous afternoon and just beautiful for Fry Fest and the start of football season. Really feeling like fall out there, and temperatures have cooled down, and it's 51 degrees in Cedar Rapids where Coralville is. It's around the 55-degree mark, so it's pretty cool out there, and we're going to start to now see the temperatures climb. But check this out. We have a 48 that showed up on the map in Monticello, 52 in Oline, and 52 in Charles City. So rather on the cool side. You might need the light jacket when you head out to the bus stop taking the kids to school today. Temperatures still going to be in the low 50s this morning. And then as we head through this afternoon, by noontime, warming up to 72 degrees down in Coralville. Area wide, we're going to be in the mid 70s. Plenty of sunshine, low humidity, and just a perfect day to be out at Fry Fest. And that is where I'm going to send it back to Kevin and Kelly, who are out there right now previewing all of those things. And we're going to talk about when you can expect some warmer conditions with your full weather first forecast later on.
Thank you, Rebecca. And we're now taking a look at some of the news from all over the nation today. New this morning, Hurricane Hermine has now been downgraded to just a tropical storm, but it did slam into Florida early this morning with a furious mix of rain and wind.
Back then, it was a Category 1 storm, and it's the first hurricane to hit Florida since Wilma struck 11 years ago. Florida Governor Rick Scott said the storm is life-threatening, and it will continue on through Florida, moving its way now to Georgia today.
A Waterloo police officer will not face formal charges. Body cam video shows Officer Adam Whitmire yanking on a handcuffed suspect's dreadlocks. It also shows the officer yelling at the suspect, hitting him in the head and pushing him into a squad car. The suspect's attorney sent this video to the FBI and Fox 28 News. According to officials, the suspect, 24-year-old Montavis Keller, nearly ran over Officer Whitmire at the end of a high-speed chase. Keller wants the officer fired. The Attorney General's office reviewed the footage and decided not to charge Whitmire. The Waterloo police chief says the officer was punished internally. Keller will stand trial later this month.
The trial date is now set for the woman who's accused of trying to kill her newborn while at the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics. Officials say that Ashley Houtzenrader tried to flush her baby down the toilet and then left the child in a trash can. The newborn was later found by hospital staff, and Houtzenrader is pleading not guilty to attempted murder and child endangerment. Her trial is scheduled for February.
A corridor veteran is now getting ready to move into his new home, and it's all thanks to a new program at the Iowa City VA that Fox 28 News told you about earlier this week.
The medical foster home program means that caregivers can open their homes to veterans who are not able to live on their own. The first caregiver in the program also used to be a foster parent, so signing up to care for a veteran was something that she was happy to do.
In my mind, that's just kind of how we're built to be as people, to be in community and to bring another person in and get to know another person.
Right now, the VA is still looking for more people to be caregivers. If you're interested in signing up, there are a few requirements you have to meet. You have to be at least 21 and have some previous caregiver experience. There's also a formal interview process. And since veterans pay caregivers directly, they ask that you be financially stable before entering the program.
Turns out the University of Iowa isn't the only corridor connection to Gene Wilder. The company that operates the world's largest cereal mill in Cedar Rapids gave the UI grad the chance to play Willy Wonka in the first place. The Chicago Tribune reports Quaker Oats paid for the 1971 movie. The film is based on the book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Filmmakers changed the title to promote their Willy Wonka candy, and it worked. Wilder passed away on Sunday. The candy is now owned by Nestle. Fans of the late actor will be able to watch his most beloved films in theaters coming up this weekend.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Blazing Saddles will play at 55 AMC theater locations Saturday and Sunday. Tickets are only $5 per film. Regal Entertainment Group plans to hold 2 Saturday screenings of Willy Wonka at another 100 theaters as well. As Hawkeyes are getting ready to celebrate tomorrow for the big game, a lot of other people are going to be celebrating a young Iowa girl as well.
If Kinsey's nurses, doctors, and the whole care team were here, I would just want to tell them thank you. You really changed our life. We didn't know how we'd be able to handle this, but you've given us our lives and Kinsey's life.
7-year-old Kinsey Heeman is opening the football season as the first kid captain. She has a genetic disorder that prevents her blood from clotting. Her parents say the people at UIHC make her life manageable. Kinsey will take the field Saturday to share her story in hopes of an inspiring Hawkeye win.
Another person taking the field as an honorary captain is a former Hawkeye and a former Cyclone. Dan McCarney played for the Hawkeyes back in the 70s. He also coached under Hayden Fry for more than a decade. Then he made his name as a head coach for the Iowa State Cyclones, snapping their 15-game losing streak against Iowa. His last trip to Kinnick Stadium was just last year as the head coach of the North Texas Mean Green. Coach McCarney will actually join us on set later on Fox 28 Morning Live. You're definitely going to want to stick around for that. I'm interested to get his take on Hayden Fry and not only coaching under him and being around him for so long, and then coming back into Kinnick and having to coach out of those pink locker rooms.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be a lot of fun. We're going to be excited to talk with him. It's now 7:06 on this Friday morning.
And coming up next on Fry Fest, one of the best ways that Hawkeye fans can give back while celebrating the kickoff of the football season.
Welcome back. It is 7:26. We're live in Coralville for Fry Fest today. Joining us now is Mark Morehouse. You can catch him every Thursday on Fox 28 at 6:30 for Eye on the Hawks. It's a new show. We're super excited about what's to come this year for it. What are some of the things that viewers can look forward to watching Eye on the Hawks?
Well, hopefully some really insightful picks. This week I picked Iowa State, or I picked UNI to beat Iowa State. Kind of want to edit that one out. I also picked Texas over Notre Dame. If we could go back, Zach, if we could go back and edit that one out, it'd be great. And we just talked the Hawkeyes and football team and just some of the trends, some of the things happening. CJ Beathard, like this year, right off the bat, sprained his knee in camp. He's going to wear a knee brace. You might have to wear a knee brace all year, and then my guess is he'll tear it off probably in the first quarter. You'll never see it again. So, try to get drilled down a little bit and get to know why the Hawkeyes do what they do and who does what they do.
Well, and kind of on that note, what's the gamesmanship of something like that? So a guy has a legitimate injury,
Yeah.
but doesn't want to wear a brace, or that's it's as much a head game as anything else, right?
It could be. I mean, sometimes in football, an opponent will look at, okay, that guy's wearing a brace. Maybe we should kind of twist that.
Yeah.
That's how the game works.
Right.
It's just how it is. But I think there is some gamesmanship there. But I think Beathard, with him, what he can do, I don't think he needs to wear the brace. I think he'll be fine. The thing with him last year was the sports hernia. It's fixed, I think.
Yeah. Well,
We think it's a tricky operation, and I think he's handled it really well. And just talking to him about all that kind of stuff throughout all last year, he was great. I mean, he was never down. He was never hid from anything. He always said, "Yep, it's my groin and my hip." He wouldn't tell you exactly what. He would have that accent, and and it just sounded so good.
sure.
There's some new names on the team this year people might not recognize. Can you give us some insight on those new players?
There's a whole bunch of new names. One, I'll throw out there, Jay Shield. And he's not a new player. He's a third-year sophomore, but he's a guy. Last year he played 3 snaps. A lot of your viewers will know him from leading Union High School to a state championship a couple years ago. Really hasn't had any luck injury-wise, and he made the switch from quarterback to wide receiver. I think he's going to take off this year, so he's a new name. Another new name, James Daniels, starting at center. He's not a new name. His brother is a running back, LaShawn Daniels. James is he's the bigger younger brother. He's the bigger little brother. So he's playing center. He's new there, and it'll be interesting to see how that develops. Defensively, There's some new old guy in there, Bo Bauer. He was a starter a couple years ago, lost his job, didn't pout, didn't cry last year. Now he's back in the starting lineup at weak side linebacker. So those are some of the names you're going to be watching. I think keep an eye out for tight ends and wide receivers. They need a lot of guys to come through there.
Over the past few years, Hawkeye fans have been kind of spoiled with their running backs, Weissman and
Right.
Kanziri. How do you step in there, and do they have folks who have been kind of getting ready to take over that kind of workmanship?
LaShawn Daniels, if you guys see him, you look at him, when you see him in public, he's a football player. Just
Right.
muscles coming out of his hair. He is just a huge kid, but he's the guy this year. He's the guy, and this is the first year where I think he's really counted on to be the guy, and he's had some health issues, an ankle last year. I'm interested to see if he can play full bore all season. I think he could be a 1,000-yard rusher. I really like Akram Wadley. He's just an exciting player, fast and great in open space. The guy we're seeing here, Derek Mitchell, third down back, converted from wide receiver last year. Interesting guy. But it's all going to come down to, I think, LaShawn Daniels. I think LaShawn is the guy, he's the guy they want to carry the ball 20 times a game, and for 20 touchdowns, 1,500 yards, they'd all take that.
In a program where they're one big or I guess kind of clump of dust going down the field, they have a big run game. What's the importance of a guy like Daniels being able to step out from behind the shadow of someone like Kanziri?
It's important. It's important that they take the baton there, and depth is important also for the running backs. Just having that deep core, and Daniels is one of those leader type guys. I talked about those guys earlier. Daniels is a guy, if you see him, you can tell what he is in the weight room. He's a locomotive, so he does carries the mantle there well. I think that'll carry over to the field, and I think leadership, smarts, really affable guy too. Some of these guys actually have fun and laugh.
Good.
He's one of them, and his brother James, hilarious. So I'm looking forward to talking to those two guys.
That'd be great.
Mark Morehouse, thank you so much for joining us. You can catch this guy on Fox 28 Thursday at 6:30, and we're sure looking forward to Eye on the Hawks.
It's 7:31 now on this Fry Fest Friday morning. Coming up next, the big ways that Donald Trump's immigration policies might affect immigrants and illegal immigrants in the corridor. It's coming up next on Fox 28 Morning Live.